Swati cop. All right, so what we're working on today is we're gonna start off with just a warm up, like we always do with all our classes. All right, so the way we're doing this is gonna be in a smaller space. All right, so what I always like to start my classes off with is taking a few deep breaths in, really trying to get the heart rate down. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Start off, deep breath in, and breathe out. In through the nose, out through the nose. Deep breath in, and out. Do one more, deep breath in and out. All right, so let's go ahead and start kind of just jogging in place. Kind of loosening it up. All right, let's go high knees. Just do everything in place, makes it a little bit easier. All right, butt kickers. High skips. Kind of challenging, but you can get it. All right, back to a jog. We're gonna do this all for about 30 seconds, all right? Now we're gonna go here, bear slaps or bear hugs. Still trying to warm up. All right, now we're gonna karaoke in and out. We're gonna do both sides. So turn the other way as well. All right, go ahead and kind of slow it down now. We're gonna do marching kicks, opposite hand, opposite foot, making sure we're keeping the opposite heel flat on the ground. Do the other side as well. You do that about a total of 20 times, 10 off each side. Now, let's go ahead and start grabbing our shins, pulling up. Call it a knee hug, open that hip, switch to the other side, do the same exact thing. Open up. Now let's go same side hand, grabbing the same side ankle. Think about tucking our tailbone in. Opposite hand is reaching high in the sky. Getting a good stretch. Let's do about 10 off each side. Make sure when we're doing this, we're still breathing the whole time. All right, now we're gonna go sprinter lunge. All right, take the big step forward with one of our legs. Just like this. We want to make sure that our knee stays behind our foot. Getting both forearms in, trying to get a good stretch. If you can't go all the way down, that's totally fine. Just get as deep as you can. Make sure that backside knee is dropped down. What I like to do is try to get both forearms to the ground if I can. Take the hand that's closest to the foot. Open up. Now take that hand, put it right there on the foot, and think about taking your elbow, pushing it into your leg to open up your hip even more. Do the same thing off the other side. So the warm-up should take about 5 to 10 minutes, all right? Because you really want to be warmed up for all this so you won't injure yourself, all right? Thanks so much. Now, what we're working on is our shadow boxing portion of this, all right? So the way I like to start this is standing with both feet together, all right? Now, I think about kind of hopping up and down to kind of get shoulder width apart, kind of wipe my feet on the ground. This kind of helps. Now, I'm gonna take my dominant side leg, take a half step back with my dominant side leg, so the hand I usually right with, pick up stuff with, that's the leg I take a small step back with, all right? Now, what I think about doing is making sure I keep my knees nice and bent. I think the way I like to do that is kind of shifting the weight back and forth. Now let's take those elbows, put them to those floating ribs off each side. Think about tucking our chin, looking over my eyebrows. My back side hand, my dominant side hand is going to touch my face. My lead side hand is going to be slightly out, just like this. All right, so this is my fight stance right here. I want to make sure I have my balance up under me. The first punch we're going to go over is going to be our jab. Jab's going to be off that lead side hand, so whatever leg's in the front. So now I throw this jab, we'll think about kind of shifting my weight into my lead side leg, getting that full extension. I want to make sure my shoulders protect my chin. Retracting and come back to stance here, all right? So throw a few jabs, make sure we're getting that full extension. Next one's gonna be the cross. Cross going for backside, we throw that across, we think about rotating on our back foot, turning our back shoulder to the front, getting that full extension, make sure our backside hand is now protecting our cheekbone, keeping it nice and tight, then I retract and come back to stance here. The next one's gonna be the hook. Hook's gonna be off our lead side hand. We wanna make sure our hand, elbow, shoulders in the same exact line, taking my lead side leg, as well as my torso, step into my dominant side, hit this hook, push off, and then come back stance. So that's that hook right there. Boom, come back stance. The last one's gonna be our backside upper. One thing about trying to shift my weight to my backside here. Keep my elbows in nice and tight. I'm gonna start to rotate on my back foot, starting to turn my torso to the front. Extend, hit this uppercut. If you notice, my knees are still bent. Retract and come back to stance. All right, so let's go through this off. Let's go here. It's gonna be jab, cross, hook, backside upper. All right, if I call for a 1, it's a jab by itself. 1. Good. If I call for a 2, jab, cross, 2. If I call for a 3, it's a jab, cross, hook, 3. If I call for a 4, jab, cross, hook, cross, 4. Now I want you to kind of run through those as many times as you can until you get the numbers down, all right? So now let's add a little bit of movement to this. We're going forward, back, left, right. When you step forward, one thing about stepping my lead side leg, driving off my back leg, still in my fight stance, forward. Good. Now we're going to be going back. When I go back, I step in my back leg, driving off my front. Good. When I go to that left side, I'm stepping my left leg first, driving off my right. When I go to the right, step my right leg first, drive off my left. All right, let's put them together. Forward, back, left, right. All right, let's put the punches on top of it now, all right? So, at the end of it. So forward, 1, back, 2, left, 3, right, 4.
Hey guys, Coach Matt here. This week in our kickboxing curriculum, we're going to be focusing on our angles of attack, right? Which I think is very important. This week, I always say, is not one of those techniques where we're practicing a specific punch or knee or elbow or kick, but rather the glue that holds our techniques together in between, right? When we get down to it, the name of the game is to hit and not get hit on the return. Okay, so we're going to focus on some ways where we can accomplish that, right? So our first round and first technique that we want to start with is called our pivot step. This is going to be to our lead side, so that's right for my southpaws and that's left for my orthodox strikers, okay? So starting first, let's look at the step, then we can look at how we add that into our techniques as well. Okay, so first things first, I want to step, if there was a clock on the ground and my lead foot was pointed at 12, right, I want to step to 2 o'clock for my orthodox strikers, it'd be 10 o'clock for my regular clock. Okay? I'm going to step to 2 o'clock for my southpaw strikers. I'm going to step to 10 o'clock on my imaginary ground clock for my orthodox strikers. Okay? As I do that, I'm taking my shoulders. It almost is going to look like I'm going to take off running in this direction. But instead of taking off running, I'm going to pivot. Okay? Nice and simple. Once I establish my base leg, I'm going to swing around, boom, establishing a new angle of attack. You guys can see it better from here. So I'm facing here, I step, pivot, and I should be looking at my bag from a new 45-degree angle. Okay? First round, you can start nice and easy with just our pivot step, going in circles for about a minute. Step. All the way until we get back around our back. Okay? Next round, adding on. We're going to make it nice and simple. We're going to add attacks or beats in between. So I could start easy, combo 1. As I retract my jab, I'm going to step, pivot. Let's follow up with combo 2. Okay, nice and easy. 1, step, pivot, into combo 2. Again, let me see it over here so you guys can see it a little better. Jab, step, pivot, jab, cross. Jab, step, pivot, jab, cross. Again, these drills are great because you can kind of just go in a circle as a way to measure yourself or to measure that you're doing it correctly. If we're shadow boxing, we don't have a bag, I can still really get a lot out of this week in the technique, right? I just be here. Jab, step, pivot, jab, cross. Jab, step, and again, making a circle. Okay, that'll be the easiest way to make sure I'm getting the step. Advanced students, focusing for this round, we can add any weapons we want in between, right? I can teep, step, pivot, kick. Okay, I can punch, step, pivot, knee. Right? I can step in, elbow, step, pivot, So again, we're using the footwork to attach all of our techniques. We are going to be working on mountain climbers as our calisthenics, right? So using our gloves, thumbs up, going hands under my shoulders. Big mistake I see on this one. People's hands will be out here, puts bad stress on your elbows and your shoulders. Okay, so let's keep our cores nice and tight. Hands under shoulders, thumbs pointed up, okay? I'm just gonna drive through right here. So I count 1, 2 as 1. You're gonna hit 20 mountain climbers. 1, 2, 3, 4. ID here, hip speed and core control. All right, guys, so we looked at our pivot step, right? Different attacks and ways to move after we score our techniques to our lead side, okay? Truth is, we need as many ways to go to our rear side as well, okay? So what we're gonna be looking at now after we're feeling good with the pivot step, maybe we did 3, 4, 5 rounds focusing there, is what we call the slide step, okay? The slide step's a little bit different. I'll go orthodox so you guys can see in this one. It might be backwards, but first thing, essentially, I think of the slide step as my feet are 2 trains on 2 railroad tracks, right? What I want to do is imagine there's a new set of railroad tracks on a 45-degree angle over here. I'm simply going to jump to my new railroad tracks at a 45-degree angle. So I'm not just jumping right here and staying fixed. I'm turning and orienting my hips as I slide to my new spot, right? So on the bag, right, we want to make sure as I slide, I'm not lined up with an imaginary target here, okay? I'm pushing off my lead foot, I'm landing on my rear foot, but as I'm doing so, I'm turning my hips to keep my target on the center line, okay? One way to think about this, to kind of over-exaggerate, would maybe be the way a hockey player or skier kind of stops, right? I'm just moving my feet, except I'm going to keep my balance where it is rather than lean away from it, okay? So applying for this round, start simple, slide step around the back, okay? Again, I'm pushing off my lead, turning my hips. Simple. I'll do it without my hands so you guys can see as well. All right, one more time. Step turn, step turn. Now, as we're adding on for this round, start simple, okay? I can go jab cross, slide, cross hook. Nice and simple. Punches, I can use different techniques there. As we're getting more advanced, right, I could go jab, I can maybe hit a lower body technique, then take my angle, following up with whatever I want. So again, I want you guys to use about 3, 4, or 5 2-minute rounds where the slide step is our focus, okay? Calisthenics after this round, I like to go full body, and I like to do a lot of burpees on my angles of attack week because we will be punching, we will be kicking, right? So jumping up, hitting our chest, and again, I can either just jump up normal, make it Muay Thai style, I can jump, flying knee, and make it a little more fun that way. That's our slide step, you guys. All right, guys, so now let's look at some specific rounds. For those who want just a more detailed approach and some combos we can do, let's start with our pivot step, okay? The first combo that I have, just to make sure that we're getting our feet and everything where it needs to be, is we're gonna start with our combo 1. Boom, that's my range finder, okay? As I retract my jab, I'm gonna make that first step, the 45-degree step to pivot. I wanna kind of blind, put my hand in the face of my opponent so they don't see what my feet are doing. So I jab. As I retract, I'm gonna step, pivot, and we're gonna follow up with jab cross. Nice and simple. That'll be our round 1. Jab, step, pivot, jab, cross. Important step here. We need to make sure we're not stepping too far where I won't be able to punch or I'll have to lean in, okay? So it's up to you guys to find exactly where I want to step, okay? One more time, this round, nice and simple. Combo 1, step, pivot, following up with combo 2. All right, after our round 3, we're gonna work on some plank jacks. Again, I'm keeping that full body idea in line with this week's workout. So I'm in basically a push-up position. I'm nice and extended. I don't want to be locked. I have a little bit of bend in my elbows. My hands are under my hips, Okay, I get a good position. I don't want my ribs to come forward and my hips like to sag low. Okay, I'm keeping my back nice and straight. I can slightly forward tilt on my pelvis. You'll feel your abs engage right there. Once I'm in a good lockdown position, plank jacks, I can go out and in with my feet, keeping my core engaged the whole time. We'll do 30-second plank jacks after round 3. All right, guys, so after we're feeling good in our punch range with our pivot step, we're gonna switch it up with some different weapons. What's gonna change here is the depth of my step. So let me show 2 different combos, one short range, one long range, where we're essentially doing the same thing, but changing our weapon choice, okay? First one that I wanna use, we'll start, I like my lead teep to find my range and kind of tying into what we were doing last week. I'm gonna teep, okay? As I pick my teep back, I'm gonna step, pivot. Now I'm too far from my punch range. Let's hit him with a rear round kick. Nice and simple, bong, to set that one up. So again, nice and simple, but from a further range. I go lead teep, step pivot, rear round kick. One more time, lead teep, step pivot, rear round kick. Everything is the same except the depth or the distance that I step. Let's show one short combo, what we call zone 1, a little bit closer, setting up an elbow. Okay? So I'm going to use my punches again. I'm going to start cross, hook. As I retract my hook, I'm going to step and pivot again, simultaneous. Now, I want to set up an elbow. So if I step too far out, I'm not going to have that elbow there. So we're just going to step a little bit tighter. So I go cross hook, step pivot, any rear elbow that you would like. Nice and simple. Again, same drill. My depth, my step just gets a little bit tighter. Okay? Cross hook, step tight, rear elbow. One more time. Cross hook, step tight, rear elbow in range. All right, so after this last round, we're gonna work on our shoulder taps. It's another great core exercise, which again, in any sport, especially combat sports, having that core strength is very important. So, same position that I was in as my plank jacks. My hands are under my hips, my pelvis is slightly tucked forward, little bend, and I'm breathing nice and controlled. When we do this, what's gonna change, my feet get a little wider, okay? Because I wanna stay stable. So as I do, I'm gonna do shoulder taps. One hand touches my shoulder. I don't wanna see a bunch of movement in between. You guys are gonna lock that core down. Touch 1, nice and slow. Touch 2, nice and slow. You're gonna do shoulder taps, keeping yourself locked down for 30 seconds. All right, guys, looking at some specific combos off of our slide step. I like to start simple because the focus is the technique of the slide step and creating the angle. I don't wanna add too much stuff where that's not my focus anymore. So for this round, we'll start nice and basic. After I did a round of just a slide step, okay, let's add our punches in. I'm gonna start with jab cross. I like to end, if I'm traveling to my rear side with my rear hand, if I'm traveling to my lead side after I score with my lead hand. It's not a rule, but it's a good idea, you guys, to get in the habit of. If I finish a combo with my rear hand, move to my rear side. If I finish with my lead on my lead side, move that direction, okay? Again, not a rule, good rule of thumb when you're practicing on the bags by yourself. So, nice and simple, we'll start jab cross, and with my rear hand, as I retract, that's when I'm gonna make that step, okay? In the beginning, we can slow it down, step, step, okay? But as we get more advanced and more fluid, I wanna see you guys nice and smooth. As you're pulling that cross back, you're taking your step. So I start jab cross, slide step to my new angle. Let me come around here, jab cross, slide step. We're gonna go cross, body hook, and then we'll just leave it right there. Okay, nice and simple, 2-strike follow-up. One more time, combo 2, slide, cross, body hook. That'll be our first combo using the slide step. After this round, we're gonna finish up with some Russian twists, okay? When I hit my Russian twist, I wanna keep my body nice and still. I don't wanna be all crunched up with bad posture or leaning back, okay? My back straight, my core is engaged, feet together. If you wanna cross them for a little more leverage, that's fine. My hands go together, I'm fully touching. I like to reach a little bit back. You'll feel your obliques engage a little bit more. So rather than just sitting here, touching, moving your arm, I'm twisting my core. Twist, 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 twist. We're gonna do our Russian twist for 30 seconds. For those of you that want an added challenge, you could use a medicine ball, a different weight, and you can add some weight to this exercise as well. All right, guys, so some different options off of our slide set. Like I said, after we keep it basic and we feel good, let's start opening up with different weapons, kind of changing how far we slide. So the next combo I want to do, again, we'll start with my hands. I find when I'm hitting with my hands, that allows my feet to move pretty smooth, then I can follow up. So for this one, I'm just going to start double jab cross, okay? Nice and long, trying to get a return is what I'm simulating with my partner. So, or against my opponent. On the bag, that's what I'm visualizing. So I double jab cross. As I retract my cross, I'm going to slide out on a 45-degree angle to my lead side. Now, notice I slid a little bit beyond punching range. I like to set up my switch kick on this side. Okay? So nice and long, I switch my feet, and score. Okay? Let's look at that a few more times, just a longer version. Double jab cross, slide, switch, kick. Okay, this should be nice and smooth. I like this one because it almost feels like I'm dancing a little bit with the slide switch. Okay, so double jab cross, slide, switch. Again, one more time, longer version, double jab cross, slide, switch. Okay? For a shorter version of this combo, using knees and elbows. Okay? I'm going to start in range. Hook, rear knee. As this sets down, I'm sliding. Okay? I'm going to follow up with a cross, switch knee. Okay? One more time. And again, my weapons change. I'm staying closer to the bag, but still, it's the same combo. I score, I move using the step, and I score again. Okay? So here, we'll go. Hook, rear knee, slide, cross, switch knee. Do that in real time. Hush, 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 hush. Last one. Hook, knee, slide, cross, switch. So again, we're using simple combinations. It might look more advanced, but the step is the same. Score, angle, score again. All right, so as the week develops and you guys have been working on this, you've been feeling good, I like to put everything together just to see how it all flows. Okay, so let's look at one combo using our lead pivot step and our rear slide, and then I'm going to let you guys, again, use these steps to create whatever combos you like or that you want. Okay, so nice and simple, using the concept we talked about before. Ending with my lead hand, a good rule of thumb, move in that direction. End with your rear hand, good rule of thumb, move to that direction. Again, not a rule, but a good habit to get into. Let's look at our punches, okay? One combo using a pivot step and a slide step. So we'll start easy. I'm gonna go combo one, ash. And with my lead hand, let's use our lead step. It's gonna be a pivot, boom. Once I get set, we're gonna follow up with combo two, jab cross. I end with my rear hand. Let's stick to that good habit rule right now. I slide to my rear side, and we're gonna finish up with just a nice and easy cross hook, okay? So, simple, right? It's 5 punches, but there's a lot going on in between. Everyone can learn a 5-punch combo. We wanna learn how to apply it the best, okay? So, looking again, 1, step, pivot, 2, slide, cross, hook. Okay, simple, but I'm keeping my opponent looking for me the whole time. That gets really, really confusing when people are just constantly changing the angle on you. One more time, jab, step, pivot, jab, cross, slide, cross, hook. Okay, so that's just one example of how to put it together. I'm gonna leave it up to all of you, whether you wanna use knees, kicks, teeps, elbows, in between, the concept stays the same, and the steps stay the same, but our range changes. Beautiful work, you guys. Kap und Kap. We'll see you on the mats.